As many of you might be knowing, intellectual property rights play a very important role in our day-to-day life. Their importance has been increasing since the last few decades, precisely from the introduction of the World Trade Organization's regime and implementation of the TRIPS agreement. Today, in the 21st century, styled as the century of knowledge revolution, intellectual property plays a vital role in the life of a nation, an industry, the society, and also an individual. It is said that till recently, the world's wealthiest man has been an oil worker, and today he is a knowledge worker. This statement was made way back in the year 1997 with reference to Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, but it still holds good even today. There are number of knowledge industries which thrive only on the strength of intellectual property. Even the National Intellectual Property Policy of 2016, unveiled by the Government of India, speaks about the creative India and innovative India. And the same is the position in other countries as well. The intellectual property rights, which are the result of creations of mind, whether in the form of industrial property compassing the patents, the trademarks, the geographical indications of goods and industrial designs, or the literary property comprising the copyright and neighboring rights. All these different forms of intellectual property are quite relevant and significant to the sustenance of the economic growth and individual enlightenment as well as enrichment. Then, till recently, it has been thought that intellectual property means only the patents, even by some of the learned sections of the society. But today, even the other forms of intellectual property rights like the copyright, the trademarks, the geographical indications of goods and designs are also playing a very significant role in the industrial field. It's not only the industrial field but also artistic, scientific and other arenas as well. Then, when we look at the definition of intellectual property, we find that protection against unfair competition is also considered as a species of intellectual property. Here comes the importance of competition. You may be knowing that in the good old days, monopolies were the order of the day. Right from the beginning of 17th century in countries like United Kingdom. However, in the 20th century, in many parts of the world, the monopolies came to be discouraged and also restricted. One may recollect the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act passed in India in the late 1960s. And today, the scenario has changed. Now it is understood that monopolies probably are not totally bad, but at the same time, abuse of monopoly is bad. Abuse of dominance is bad. This is reflected in the form of the Competition Act of 2002 insofar as India is concerned. The competition law encourages fair competition, ensures protection of the rights of the consumers, and also provides a greater choice as far as the goods and services are concerned. Today, the citizen, either in the capacity of a consumer or ordinary citizen, can always invoke the competition law to protect his rights. in this course, we have taken care to incorporate all the important areas in the field of intellectual property rights, right from the conceptual framework to international legal regime to the Indian legal regime. Insofar as the competition law is concerned, we have included the information and the knowledge relating to the mechanism to protect the consumers' rights, to enforce the competition law, and also to ensure that there is no abuse of dominant position. And the interface between the intellectual property and the competition need not be re-emphasized, but at the same time there is an inherent connection between intellectual property rights and the competition law. In fact, there is special part of the competition law dedicated to the intellectual property rights, which by their very nature are excluded from the provisions of the Competition Act. Therefore, gaining knowledge in these two areas, namely the intellectual property law and also the competition law, will be useful to a cross section of the society. One pertinent point which may be noted in this context is that all these years the intellectual property has been considered as an exercise or as a concept which was confined only to the four walls of probably the 5-star ambience, and many people still think that intellectual property is meant only for scientists and technocrats. Same is the case with competition law. The important objective of offering this course is to disseminate the knowledge relating to the intellectual property and also the competition law to every citizen irrespective of the background. This course will be useful to the lawyers, including the competition lawyers, even the members of the judiciary who are dealing with these cases, the students pursuing law and other professional courses, then the enforcement authorities dealing with the intellectual property rights and also the competition issues. And sometimes it may be useful even with regard to the other sections of the society. At the end of the day, we are looking for an enlightened section of the candidates who gain the minimum knowledge with regard to the concepts and their application with regard to intellectual property rights and the competition law. We welcome all of you to this course and looking forward to a very meaningful and constructive discussion and interaction. Thank you.